But first, I want to bring in, and just standing next to me is Chef Jose Andres and actress Jennifer Garner. If you can join me now. I literally just saw them on the road and flagged them down and asked them to come join me. Chef, I want to begin with you. I have to say, this is the last place I ever thought I would see you. Well, I thought I would be sent to somewhere else in the world that would experience something like this, and not to my hometown. What are you doing right now?
Well, it's what World Central Kitchen does. Be next to the people. We activated 1 hour after the fires began because, unfortunately, we have a lot of experience in fires and a lot of team members in LA. And as we saw that the fires keep growing, we keep adding more team members, more food trucks, and we're feeding people in shelters. We are feeding first responders. We are adapting because the situation keeps evolving day by day. And we are in every community, in every shelter, or in the places where the fire trucks gather to make sure that everybody is receiving food and water.
Truly unstoppable. If you are, that is true. If you are watching this right now and you're in Los Angeles County, you've been evacuated and you'd like a hot meal, where do you go? Well,
the good news is that it's not only what World Central Kitchen does. Yeah. In the worst moments of humanity, the best of humanity shows up. So it's plenty of restaurants and chefs popping up in the middle of nowhere and doing tacos or hot dogs. So this is fortunately, this is the beauty of moments like this. But obviously, you can go to the worldcentralkitchen.org webpage. We're in a lot of places. We are in a lot of communities. And there you will find some of the places that we are providing meals for the community, on top of the shelters and on top of, obviously, the first responders that we are feeding everywhere we feel they need our help. Jen, I know you're helping out. Why was it so important for you to link up with Jose for this?
Well, I've lived in and around the Palisades for 25 years. So I think all of us we want to get our hands into working somehow to be helpful. And because of my work with Save the Children, we have a relationship with Chef, and I was able to just say, can I be with you for the day? What can I do to help put me to work? And
this is intensely personal for you. You just mentioned it's your neighbor. You lived here for a long time. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been trying to describe the Alphabet Streets, which are behind us. We're on 5th right now, if anybody knows.
Can I tell you, my best friend's house was down the street. They had a gong in their front yard. There were so many kids. Yeah. There were so many kids that played in the street, and they would hit the gong at the end of the day and call them home, just like neighborhoods across the country. It is not some faraway place that you can't reach. This is like the street we run down on 5Ks. This is where the little fire truck, that God bless our firefighters, this is where the fire truck goes, you know, on the 4th of July parade. This is a neighborhood. It's a neighborhood.
One of the places that is close to me, that I know is close to you, is the Methodist Church. Yeah. It's right across the street from Palisades Elementary. When I was a kid, I did the bells. I sang in the choir, poorly. It's gone.
Yeah.
What did it mean to you?
I mean, it's my family's church. And it's where my kids went to Sunday school. We lit the Advent candle together there a couple of weeks ago. We watched the little kids perform. It's a preschool. It's a central place for our community. There's so many incredible AA meetings, Al-Anon meetings. You know, it was a gathering. It's a gathering point for the entire community, and full of really quirky, cool, mostly blue collar people of the community. And just like, I love belonging there, because wherever I went, I would run into somebody from our.
Do they still do after services on Sunday? Did everyone still gather outside
for coffee?
Cookies and
cookies and coffee.
Donuts?
Yeah.
It was. I remember vividly being a part of that and feeling like I was a part of a community. I went to the same youth group. How has it been? I'm struggling personally to just kind of make sense of all of this. How has it been for you? I know you lost a friend.
I did lose a friend, and for our church, it's really tender, so I don't feel like I should talk about her yet. But
Got it.
Yeah, I did lose a friend who did not get out in time, and you know.
Well, how has it been for you just to see all this?
It's just, my heart bleeds for my friends. I mean, I can think of 100 families, and there are 5,000 homes lost. I can without even, I could just write out a list of 100 friends who lost their homes. It's just like, I feel almost guilty walking through my house, just, what can I do? How can I help? What can I offer? What do I have to offer with these hands and these walls and the safety that I have?
Well, you can align yourself with somebody like this.
But let me just say, I mean, it is an incredible thing to watch World Central Kitchen and Chef Jose just come in and just, we've got this handled. Don't worry, we've got you. I mean, Save the Children is mounting response, and we will be in shelters helping parents and kids and keeping them safe and social emotional. And we'll be here in a big way very, very soon. But until then, the first person here, the first thing you have to do is feed the people who are caring for the communities, and that's what World Central Kitchen does. You are never going wrong if you donate to World Central Kitchen.
But the most important thing here is once the cameras are gone, once everybody forgets about what's happening here, like we've seen in Nashville, in North Carolina, in so many other places.
Yes.
Paradise.
But we need to make sure Paradise, where we need to remember that we cannot leave these communities forgotten. Obviously, everybody has to remember them. We need to find ways so they can start reconstruction. And obviously, when we talk about the federal government, that's where the federal government plays a big role. We need to make sure that the people that lost their jobs, and probably for weeks or months, they're not going to have an income, that we take care of those people. This is the type of things we need to make sure that our politicians, on one side and the other, they don't start arguing or finger pointing, but working with smart policies. So in these events, we can make sure that people are taken care of. We, the people.
Let me on that note, bring in Jacob Soboroff, who you know well as well, Chef Jen. Now he grew up here as well. But there are people that have been foundational for this community, and these are folks that have worked in the local haunts. Mort's Deli when Mort's was still around.
I just was talking to Jen and Chef just a minute ago, and I just got back from a local restaurant, Cafe Vita, which you know well.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you know well too.
I've had 100 million meals there.
It is a staple of it.
Yeah.
And as I was just walking over here and hearing you talk about the workers, people know to look to you for a meal. But I know that you also have a message for the workers that work in these places where people would normally get a meal. I mean, the people that make these communities go. What would you say to those people today?
Well, I said before, in the worst moments, the best of humanity shows up. But obviously, what we need to be doing is remembering that the cameras and the lights are going to be used off. And we're going to be forgetting about this. Yeah. And what we need to be doing is, in the long term, that we are here, that we don't forget these communities, that they feel they are supported. Well, with federal aid, but we cannot forget these people, and we need to have good policies and good systems so these people never feel forgotten.
I want to emphasize that because Jen and I were talking about, there's a guy, Albie, who's worked in this community for 34 years, who has been a waiter at Cafe Vita, before that at Mort's, the deli. I've known him since I was 8 years old. He worked behind the counter. Yeah. For people like that, what do those people mean to this community?
Yeah, I mean, they're the staple of the community. It's like, honestly, the Palisades feels like a little neighborhood. So it's almost like Sesame Street, right? like the people who are serving you food. The people. You care about each other. There's a reciprocity here, and there's a real love here, and we've got to take care of them. And I can think of people who work at these places that I've been in touch with who, their parents lost their homes, they lost their homes, they lost the place that they work, and they're for so many families, it's just going to be, okay, what next? So we just have to try to slow it down and also just really emotionally support the kids who lost their school, their home, their church, their playground, our little playground down here, the community. It's we've got to really do some social emotional support.
I was talking to one mom who was looking at her home. She had her 2 kids with her, and these poor children, I just kept thinking of my own children and how I would tell them about what happened. And they're small, they're 3 and 5. Like how would I break the news to them that we can't go home, or like break the news that maybe I wasn't able to grab their favorite Lovey.
Yeah.
And there's going to be stories like that. You ran with your lives, and how do you help your kid understand that just because the home is gone and our stuff is gone, it's going to be okay. We're going to be able to rebuild. The tumult of that, the disruption of that, and then they don't, as you said, they don't have schools here any longer.
Yeah.
It's having to go from here to build a new life.
The people, and for example, our little elementary school, 35 families lost their homes, 5 teachers' families lost their homes, and the school is instantly curating specifically for each family. What is your child missing the most? They have a family donating Squishables. We have, everybody has some little kid is just like, I just wanted my leggings. I miss it. So we're getting that kid. So the people are strong and the sense of community is strong. We will look after each other. And that is still here. That's stronger than ever. And just like Chef said, I mean, I've gotten to visit so many disaster relief areas, and you expect to find, I mean, this is tragic, but you always find love and hope.
Yeah.
And that's what we need our leaders
That's what we need
and
to
politicians to do. Not bring the worst out of everybody, but use what do we do to make sure that we take care of the people.
This is a man who just was awarded the medal by President Biden. And
That's true.
I know that you were at the White House just days ago, and you have this relationship with this administration. How important is it that the next administration stays engaged in just 9 days' time?
Well, obviously, that will be an important message to President Trump. This is not about red states or blue states or towns that voted for me or towns that didn't vote for me. This is about we, the people, the American people that usually they are always working together in their communities. Nobody knows who votes for whom. It's people working together. That's what any administration needs to remember.